Welcome to the CLNS Patriots pregame show for preseason week 4 against the New York Giants. You're listening to CLNS, a leading online provider of audiovisual coverage for the New England Patriots. Welcome into the New England Patriots pregame show for week 4 of the NFL preseason. I am your host, Alex Barth. Thanks for joining us tonight. If you're catching this live, we are on Facebook Live and Periscope if you're listening to it on clnsmedia.com. You just missed it, but we will be live next week, same time, actually same day on a Thursday, week 1. We look forward to talking to you then. For now, week 4 of the preseason, not too much to get into. We're kind of going to treat this as a big picture show, a roster projection show. Most of the guys we see tonight, it's probably the last time we're going to see them on an NFL field, at least the last time that we're going to see them on an NFL field anytime soon. There are some guys bound for the practice squad, and there will be some guys that play that do make the team. There are a few position battles left for the New England Patriots, so we'll talk about that. But for the most part, talking overall roster construction. If you are watching live on Facebook and Periscope and you have any questions or comments, you want to call me out on something, whatever it may be, feel free to comment. I want this to be a discussion. I want this to be a dialogue, so absolutely get into me with it. Make sure you check out clnsmedia.com and Patriot Beat for our coverage throughout the week. Mike and Marv will have you post-game, so immediately after, and then all week with Trags leading up to week 1. I just want to remind you before we get started here that the New England Patriots pregame show on CLNS is brought to you by FanDuel Sports, fantasy football for everyday fans. New contest starting every week. No busted seasons. Draft Edelman like I did. Guess what? Here's a way out from that. Something for everybody, and it starts at just $1. That's right, just $1. Pick your contest, choose your team, watch the score light up in real time. Every week it's more exciting. The players you want. Missed out in your draft, didn't get Brady. I didn't get home from time in work. I had to give up a lot to get Tom Brady on my team because I missed him in the draft. Here's your chance to do all that. And if you sign up with our promo code right now, try FanDuel for free with no deposit required. Visit FanDuel.com to claim your free contest and play for a share of $10,000. Just sign up using the promo code PatriotsBeat. That's one word, PatriotsBeat. That's FanDuel.com, promo code PatriotsBeat, void where prohibited. So that's pretty much all the fantasy talk we'll get out there tonight. I want to get to roster construction here. I want to get to the position battles. What are you guys looking at tonight? The guy I really want to see tonight, the guy I'm curious about tonight is Austin Carr. He had a great first preseason game, and then we haven't seen much from him the last couple. Now, he's played more snaps than anybody else on this roster in the preseason, and that's important to remember. But it really feels like he hasn't been that same force that he was in week 1. And obviously, Garoppolo, huge fan of his in week 1. We saw him go to him. But we haven't seen the workload we wanted, or that I would want to see from Austin Carr in the last couple of games as he's going to make this team. If Julian Edelman stays healthy, as of right now, I have Austin Carr out on the roster. They're going to need to keep another wide receiver. Some people are saying they are where they are. The Edelman injury isn't going to affect the wide receiver position roster construction-wise. I don't agree with that. Right now, Austin Carr, to me, is the leader in the clubhouse. Devin Lucien has had himself a nice summer, but I wouldn't totally count on him being that guy. I think he's had his chances here. He's also not as much of a slot type. And then DJ Foster, who everybody says, well, they're not going to keep another running back. He was a running back. He was drafted as a running back. He was a receiver in college. He caught more balls than he carried. He could be that slot guy. He does have the most experience in this offense of those three guys. So those three are the three guys that need to show up tonight on the offensive side of the ball more than anybody else. I think they're fighting for roster spots. Carr's probably not going to get on the practice squad if he doesn't make this team. Similar to Kramir Grugier-Hill last year, similar to Crayvon LeBlanc last year, Austin Carr doesn't get on the practice squad. Jacob Hollister is another guy at that third tight end spot. He's not going to get on the practice squad. And it sounds like more and more they want to keep O'Shaughnessy. They want to keep James O'Shaughnessy as that third tight end. They want to go with the blocking guy. Maybe they think that they can get Hollister to the practice squad. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but I don't think he gets there. And he is a good third tight end to have, a backup to Rob Gronkowski. So those are the guys tonight really fighting for roster spots. In addition to them, Ferentz on the offensive line He's a borderline guy. I think he'll make it. He's got the pedigree. His dad's the coach of Iowa. But the offense, you more or less know what you're looking at with the Patriots. I don't think there's any major questions about what this offense is going to look like, even with Edelman getting hurt, and that surprised me. I also want to thank Jonah online for the question about the receivers and John for the question about the running backs. Kind of combined it into one. The running backs, Foster will probably get a lot of reps tonight out of the backfield. I don't think he'll get many reps out of the slot. Just because that's what he's been. That's more so his role right now. If he did make the team and they did want to use him as a slot receiver, that's something they would install in the next week, or they've been installing that they don't want to show tonight. With the running backs, going to see a lot of him, a lot of LaShawn Daniels, who I think maybe practice squad, probably not on the team. But that's what you're looking at tonight. In terms of the running backs, and this is where it's interesting, any other year, you would see Dion Lewis tonight. You would probably see James White tonight a little bit. You would see Brandon Bolden tonight. You still might see Brandon Bolden tonight carry the ball. And I think he makes the team. People have been talking about him as a bubble guy. I think he's on the team. Belichick's not going to quit on a special teams player like that. I don't see it happening. But this year, there's no 75-man cut. It used to be you went from your 90-man training camp roster down to 75 halfway through the preseason and then down to your 56-man roster is how it used to work. That's no longer the case. It's 90 straight down to that regular season roster. So Belichick's going to get a chance tonight to play guys he usually would not get to play. And it's a change for him. It's a little different. But again, it's going to muddy a little bit what we're looking at in terms of who's going to make this team, because there's more guys to play. Again, if you guys have any questions, if you're watching on Periscope, if you're watching on Facebook Live, please let me know. Hit it in the chat. Put the comments down below on Periscope. More than happy to talk about what you guys want to talk about. If you're listening on CLNS.com, you can get at me on Twitter at @TheRealAlexB. Get at CLNS on Twitter at CLNS Media. At Patriots_beat is our specific Patriots account. We will be live next week, so this will all be combined into one nice little package. But for now, we're pre-recording the show, so sorry if you missed the live part. Sorry if you missed the social media aspect of the show. Hopefully you'll get in on it next week. We're talking Patriots here. My name is Alex Barth, getting you ready for preseason week 1. Preseason week 4. I have week 1 on the brain. 1 week from tonight, the Patriots will kick off against the Kansas City Chiefs tonight. Pretty much all about figuring out who's going to be on that team, who's going to be on that roster, who's going to be the odd man out. Now, Jacoby Brissett's name has snuck into this conversation a little bit lately as a guy who may be on the outside looking in. And people have kind of scoffed that off. They picked him in the 3rd round. Brady's old. Garoppolo's contract's up next year. I'm not totally sold Brissett makes this team. Now, gun to my head, yeah, he's on the roster, I think. But let me start by saying this. A lot of roster projections you'll see are 53-man rosters. I like Mike Reese of ESPN Boston did it the best. He had a 52-man roster projection. Because Belichick is going to go elsewhere to sign somebody. I think that's a foregone conclusion. He does it every year. And part of that is the trade with Marquise Flowers, which we'll get into, but to me, that's Jacoby Brissett. He's the 53rd guy on the roster. If there is a free agent out there, if a team cuts somebody, and Bill Belichick thinks, you know what, he helps us more than a 3rd-string quarterback, he will not be afraid to cut Brissett. A couple years ago, a guy named Matt Gutierrez, Patriots took him in the 3rd round. I believe it was 2005. It was 2008. It was the year Brady was coming off the knee injury. Keep the 3rd quarterback on the roster for the year. Brady's recovering from a knee injury. You don't know how he's going to look. Next year, 3rd round pick, they didn't care. They cut him in camp. So there's a precedent for this, for Belichick. I'm not totally sold on the idea, I'm not totally sold on the idea that Brissett was a long-term pick. That may have just been the result of Deflategate and Belichick saying, I need another quarterback for the year. You know, the Parcells connection, Brissett a smart quarterback and pick the system up quick, and then you bail on him. That could absolutely be the case if you need another quarterback. Again, if you guys have any questions or comments, put them in the chat on Facebook Live or Periscope. If you're listening to this on CLNSmedia.com afterwards, feel free to get at us on Twitter at CLNS Media. We'll be live next week, so you'll get a chance to catch that. Now, I had a question last week, since it is Patriots-Giants tonight. Before we do a little more roster breakdown, we're going to break this show up a little bit. Had a question about a Patriots-Giants Super Bowl, and I got that last week, and it was from a Giants fan. He's just trying to antagonize me, and whatever. Who cares? But it's Patriots-Giants. I will indulge Evan on Facebook with this one. This year, I'm not seeing it. I don't think the Giants have it this season. I do not. Brandon Marshall's a locker room cancer. Odell Beckham is coming off an injury. His head doesn't seem to be fully in it. Odell Beckham Jr. is going to take another step back. Look, I like that defense. I think Landon Collins is one of the most, if not the most underrated defensive player in the league. The dude was an absolute game changer last year, for a team that struggled at times. But that offense, I'm not sold on the Giants getting back. If they do, though, with that defense, it's the kind of team that's going to give Patriots fits. So we will see. You guys have any comments? Throw them on Facebook Live or Periscope for me. I know I keep saying that. Just want to remind everybody. We've had a couple come in so far. Again, I want the show to be a dialogue. If you're listening on CLNSmedia.com, questions for next week, start hitting us as soon as this game is over, whether it's me, Trags, Mike or Marv on the post-game show. I know they're happy to talk with you guys on Twitter. Let us know what you guys want to talk about. So I brought up Marquise Flowers' name earlier. Brandon Flowers was the guy I wanted them to get in the offseason. The Pro Bowl corner cut by San Diego was his last stop. He's been around. He's been in Kansas City as well. He's a good player. They didn't end up signing him, but they traded, I believe it was a 5th-round pick for Marquise Flowers, a former 4th-round pick, defensive linebacker. Now, Belichick makes this move every year. Akeem Ayers a couple years ago, Jabal Sheard, Kyle Van Noy. Belichick's gonna add a linebacker every year for a low pick. It just feels like he does it. Marquise Flowers' background's mostly in special teams. I don't think he's a game changer, but he's gonna make the roster. Belichick gave up a pick for him. He can play special teams. That's most of his 2-year NFL career is special teams. He's gonna be on the roster as a special teams guy. So first of all, I know I said I think Brandon Bolden's gonna make the team as a special teamer. If he doesn't, it's because of this trade. If it's Bolden or Brandon King who's left off, it is probably a result of them bringing in Marquise Flowers because they think he's better for special teams. Now the question is also, they're already carrying a lot of linebackers. David Harris is going to make the team. He has a lot of guaranteed money. That would be a shocking cut for them. He's also the kind of player Belichick loves. He's smart. He's durable. He can do a couple different things. Landon Roberts is going to be on the team. Kyle Van Noy is going to be on the team. They were contributors last year. One would think Harvey Lange will be on the team. He got more guaranteed money than any undrafted rookie this year, and he's gotten a lot of reps for the Patriots, not just in the preseason games, but in joint practices. He's worked with the first team, especially when Landon Roberts went down early in the preseason. I think Lange's a lock. They're going to carry one more linebacker after that, whether it be McClellan or Jonathan Freeney. And then, of course, Flowers factors in. Now, they could carry one of those guys. I think Freeney's on the way out. I want Freeney on the way out. I don't think he's that good. And he was hurt all of last year, if you don't remember him. Jonathan Freeney's been on the team for a couple of years. He's an okay special teamer, but every time he's on the field, I feel like I'm watching him blow a coverage. And they're going to face a lot of teams that are trying to attack the underneath this year with the pass, given that secondary they have. Freeney, to me, is not the guy for this team. But Shea McClellan, he hasn't played. And even last year, he jumped the line on a field goal, but outside of that, you didn't see much from him. You saw him recover the fumble in, what was that, against Miami, I believe? And he was slow. He was really slow. He's not as much of a liability in coverage, I would say, as a Jonathan Freeney. But Kyle Van Noy, clearly better in coverage. And Marquise Flowers is quick too if they want to work him on the defense. So why I bring up the fact that McClellan hasn't played, he may be headed for IR. They may just count him off this year and say, you know what, Shea? Thanks for last year. He was dealing with an injury most of last year, it looked like. So there could be room for another linebacker on this team, if Shea McClellan goes on IR. So something to keep an eye on. Not tonight. Not going to matter tonight, of course. But down the road. They already have a couple guys on IR. Matt Langle caught the touchdown against the Jets last year, the tight end. He's on IR. That sort of opened up some room for O'Shaughnessy and Hollister. You have Caleb Kidder on IR, undrafted defensive end that people thought they liked the last couple weeks, but he goes on IR. Edelman, obviously. And I think, and not enough people are talking about this, Tony Garcia, their second draft pick after Derek Rivers, the tackle from Troy, I don't know that he doesn't get on IR. He hasn't been able to get on the field in preseason. I think they were counting on him to have a crucial role this year, to be the swing tackle. in theory, should be a better player than Cameron Fleming. He's definitely a better player than Landry and Waddle. I think they were counting on him to do stuff, and he hasn't been able to get on the field. So don't sleep on the possibility of Tony Garcia ending up on IR as well. And that is what would open up the spot for James Ferentz, I think, is if Tony Garcia ends up on IR. Again, if you guys have any questions, comments, let me know. Periscope, Facebook Live, we're doing both right now. We will be live next week. In addition to Periscope, I don't know about Facebook Live, but we will be live next week on the CLNS Media Facebook page, so check that out. We are a week and an hour and a half from real football. As I'm recording this, if you're listening to this later, it's about 7 o'clock right now, top of the hour here in New England, top of the 7 o'clock hour, but we are getting there. Real football is right around the corner. And since we haven't talked about all, and again, I could get into specifics about this game tonight, but most of these guys aren't going to see the field. So kind of looking at a bigger picture, we haven't talked much about what the division looks like, what the AFC looks like as a whole for the Patriots. And that's kind of what this game essentially is one big pregame show for the regular season. You'll hear Dan Roach tonight on TV. I'm sure Zoe and Sosi will get into it. We're looking, this is as little football as we're gonna get, until after the Super Bowl. This is, even the Pro Bowl is more football than tonight. So, this is, with the first week of the preseason, you're all excited. Yeah, football. Comes back, well, this isn't real football. And then it gets a little worse. Third preseason game, they bring you up a bit. Brady played just over half. I think he came back out after halftime last week. The only image I have in my head from that game is the Edelman injury. And then week 4 is just a disaster. And it's the Giants on top of that, which no Patriots fan wants to see that team. And then we come back next week. So, as I'm saying, we're gonna use this, as kind of a preview to the whole season. We'll get it, cause next Thursday night, I want to specifically be talking Patriots-Chiefs. Not much to talk about in the division other than you legitimately have 3 teams in this division that could be the bottom 3 teams in football, I think. The Browns aren't going to be the worst team in football this year. They had too good of an offseason. They're going to be bad. I think 6 wins for them, between 4 and 6 wins. But you have the Bills. If Tyrod Taylor has that concussion, I love Tyrod Taylor. I don't know why they keep trying to run him out of Buffalo. Why the ownership doesn't want him there. But if Tyrod Taylor's out with a concussion, I think Peterman's okay, but he's not good enough with the weapons around him to win that many games. Especially with the tough schedule they have this year. The Dolphins, Jay Cutler. That's all you need. That team's gonna suck. That team's gonna be terrible. And the idea they want to trade Jarvis Landry is insane. Absolutely insane. No idea why they would do that. And then you have I do not think the Jets will be the worst team in football. They'll be the second or third worst. As bad as they are at every position, and they are bottom 3 in the league at just about every position, that defensive line's too good, man. That defensive line, and they have a couple good young safeties, those units will luck them into a couple of wins. And there's teams out there this year that, I don't think the Cardinals are going to win that many games. The LA Rams, I almost said St. Louis, the LA Rams could be a 1 or 2 win team. The Chargers, sounds like Phillip Rivers has quit on that team. That's not a good team. I don't think the Jets are the worst team. They're down there. They're pretty bad. And their roster construction is horrible because all their talent is at one position, but they have an immense amount of talent at that one position. But that's good news for the Patriots. The over-under in Vegas is 13.5 wins. I think that's the right number. They generally win 12 or 14. They never win 13 games. You ever notice that? They go back and forth between 12 and 14. It's never 13. Never 13-3 for the Patriots. Most teams would love 13-3. Never deal with that. We never deal with that as Patriots fans. But, I'm probably taking the under. I'm looking at, first of all, Oakland in Mexico City. That's tough. You're in Denver the week before that. Denver's always tough for them. Pittsburgh, late in the year in Pittsburgh, if Big Ben's still healthy, that's going to be a game that gives them some trouble. And they always lose one divisional game. Honestly, I'm looking at the Jets week 17. They may have everything locked up and sit everybody. That could end up being the game they lose in the division. Which if they have everything locked up, whatever, it hurts the Jets' draft stock. I don't care. But, so, that Pittsburgh one I'm 50-50 on, so I think 13.5 is the right number for them. I'm probably taking the over, but, Again, 12 wins or 14 wins. That's what it's going to be. That's what it is every year, pending something catastrophic. Edelman injury is not catastrophic, for the record. The Edelman industry, much like the Isaiah Thomas trade, hurts a lot more in the heart than it does in the head. You know, everybody loves Julian Edelman. Everybody loves Isaiah Thomas. I'm still going to be cheering for Isaiah Thomas. Dan Greenberg from Barstool put it best today. I need the Cavs to go 0-82 and Isaiah to drop 35 a game. But the Cavs only average like 40 a game. That's what I need. So this is kind of like that. Love Edelman. My favorite player to this day, my favorite player growing up to this day is Drew Bledsoe. I liked Edelman before anybody knew who he was. Solely on his number, and I'm 5'8", he's probably 5'8". It's listed at what? 5'10", he's 5'8". So I do not have any disdain towards Julian Edelman. But they are built so well to get around that. And the reason I'm not worried, when Welker left for Denver, everybody freaked out. How are they going to fill that role? Who's going to be Brady's go-to guy? And Welker stepped right in and took care of it. And as good as Edelman is, as good as Welker was, and Edelman's better than Welker. As good as those guys are, a certain amount of that role, you're going to catch at least 80 balls if you're somewhat competent. Because Tom Brady is that good. Look, even before Welker, people don't realize that role still existed. It was Kevin Falk. He was just doing it out of the backfield. Before him, it was Troy Brown. It was Doug Gabriel for about 2 weeks in 2010? That role has existed pretty much since Brady became the starting quarterback. And the guy who's been in it has had some success. Now, Edelman's been more successful than others. But they've won without Edelman still having a guy in that role. And I think Austin Carr can be that guy. All you need is somebody who can cut on a dime and somebody who's not afraid to take a hit. And people are saying, oh, Chris Hogan, he was so good last year. If Chris Hogan wasn't white, people would look at him so... He's stereotyped, he's typecast into this white slot receiver. He is up there. He's not AJ Green, he's not Julio Jones, he's not Brandon Cooks. He's a top 10 downfield threat in the league. You're not wasting that guy in the slot. He's also too big. He's too big of a target for these defenders. He's 6'1". Chris Hogan, not a slot receiver. Stop saying it. He's going to have a great year. Yes, he will have more catches with Edelman, not active, but Chris Hogan is not a slot receiver. I need to stop hearing that. Amendola, he could do it, but he's too fragile. Again, that guy has to take hits. That guy has to be willing to take a beating. Amendola's not going to do that. He'll be gone week 3 or 4. Cooks, like I just said, elite downfield threat. Top 10, maybe top 5 receiver in the league. Brandon Cooks, not going in the slot. Cut that out. Malcolm Mitchell, he does too many things too well. He will run in the slot at times, but he does too many things too well to just be in the slot. They'll move him around. And who does that leave you? Austin Carr, DJ Foster. And that's why I'm so sure that one of those guys, I would go with Carr, because he showed at Northwestern he can take a hit. I think he's got that stop on a dime ability that Edelman had more so than Foster does. So that's why Carr would be my guy, but that's why I think there's a roster spot for one of these guys. Again, this is the CLNS Patriots pregame show. Thank you for tuning in live. If you're on Periscope or Facebook Live, feel free to leave me some comments, any questions, whatever you guys want me to talk about. We're going to wrap this up here momentarily, but if there's any other comments, I'll make sure to get them in. If you're listening on clnsmedia.com, thanks for tuning in. We will be live next week on the CLNS Media YouTube page, getting you ready for Patriots Chiefs. Question on Periscope, is Austin Carr NFL ready? He's as NFL ready as an undrafted rookie's going to be. He is going to have some growing pains if he plays a big role in this offense. And when I say Austin Carr is going to replace Edelman, not week 1. He's not going to come out and have 11 catches for 120 yards. I don't think so anyway. I'd be shocked. That'd be one of the best rookie. That's right up there with Anquan Bolden for the best debut by a receiver ever. But he showed an ability throughout camp to quickly pick up the offense, pick up the game, understand what's going on, understand situational football. That last one, understanding situational football. There were times in camp where you'd watch him in 7-on-7s and 11-on-11s, knowing where the sticks were, getting out of bounds at the right time, being able to reach the ball out for that extra yard, understanding how to draw pass interference. That he can do. And that's going to go a long way for him with the Patriots. So right now, Is he a 100-catch guy, Austin Carr? No. But he could be a major factor. He should be a major if he makes the team, which I think he will. Or at least I think he should. I thought Crevon LeBlanc wouldn't make it last year. He should have. He didn't. So, and Carr's my guy this year. If he makes the team, he will be a factor for the Patriots sooner rather than later. Again, if you guys have any questions or comments, Facebook Live or Periscope, let me know. We're taking you up just about until kickoff on the recorded version. We're going a little early here. We're just about getting ready to actually wrap this up as kickoff's just moments away here, live. So if you're listening to the game, you'll kind of have to listen, I love Rochi. Maybe mute the first 20 minutes of the broadcast, listen to what I have to say here. Although at this point, you've already listened to 23 minutes. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. And you know what, on that note, I don't think we have any more questions coming in. One more week, people. We are almost there. Patriots football just around the corner. Next time I talk to you, it will be the regular season. We will have a 53-man roster. For my comments on who surprises tonight for the Patriots, one last Periscope question. And the surprise tonight for the Patriots is anybody who watches this game start to finish. Now, I mean, literally start to finish. If you watch the start, I'll watch the start, I'll watch the end. Red Sox Yankees, huge 4-game series tonight. I'm going to be back and forth for a preview of that game. CLNS Red Sox beat. They have your preview of that, clnsmedia.com. Click on the Red Sox tab to get ready for the big Red Sox Yankees series. Make sure you check that out. But the upset tonight is if you watch who impresses tonight? The people who watch this game start to finish. I'm going to at least have the Red Sox. It'll be at least 50-50 for me. Patriots, Red Sox, I think, tonight. And that's the last time all year I'll say that. Next week, I am turning on, NBC for the season opener? I'm turning on NBC, and I am throwing the remote in the trash. Because it is football season, and I have waited way too long for this. I need some pigskin back. I need some real, not borderline roster guys. I need Tom Brady back for 60 minutes, and we are 1 week away from that. So, until we talk about that again, this has been the CLNS Media Patriots pregame report. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. You can follow myself at @TheRealAlexB. You can follow at CLNS Media for our complete coverage for Patriots coverage at Patriots_beat. Make sure to come back for the post-game show. Mike and Marv will have all the reactions. I'm sure they'll have some week 1 breakdowns too. They'll be talking a lot of roster construction stuff. If there's anything I didn't get in. If you have any questions for me, more than happy to interact on Twitter as we start getting ready towards next week. I'll probably be talking about cuts tonight if you want to check that out. So until then, I want to thank everybody for tuning in who tuned in live. If you listened on the recording, thank you just as much. Even more effort. You had to actually go and find this during the game, so props to you. And I look forward to talking to you next week. So until then, enjoy Patriots Giants. This has been Alex Barth for CLNS Media. Bye.